talked about spending money on vacations, but dropping that cash can create some issues for some mentally.
Yeah, here to talk about the relationship between mental health and money is motivational speaker Mike McGill. And first off, a big welcome back to you, Mike. We haven't had you on the set for a while. It's good to see you again.
It's good to be here. In addition to being a speaker, the biggest thing is I'm a therapist, and what I know to be true is money and mental health are inextricably connected. They're connected.
How is that?
Oh man, well think about it. We all have money stories. We all have money challenges. We all have money experiences. Here's what I know to be true. Our outer experiences, our outer behaviors are the consequence of unconscious thoughts, unconscious patterns, unconscious behaviors that often start way before we become a grown-up. And so especially when you talk about money, many of us grow up in situations where people either didn't have enough, didn't know enough, couldn't teach enough, didn't know how to manage what they had, and then we begin to perpetuate what we don't understand.
Wow.
Yeah, it seems like you're, I mean, it sounds long term when you put it into those words.
Yeah, well, it is. It's about renewing the mind. So one of the tips that I talk about is becoming more conscious as a therapist and as a speaker. Let me tell you, I work with clients in my coaching program for money who make $50,000 a year, $60,000 a year, 70, 100, 200. And what I know to be true is it's all the similar patterns. There are some folks who they make $200,000 a year and still can't manage the money that they have. That tells me money is often not a money problem. It's a mindset. It's a mind thing. So unpack your money stories. Unpack how people spent money around you. Unpack how you were raised. Unpack your relationship with money. And what does it do for you?
What are some tips you have for those people who feel overwhelmed, for those people who maybe they do make good money or maybe they don't make enough and they're overwhelmed by that?
Yeah, that's a good question. I would say start small. The biggest way that we change our lives and we change our minds is by becoming conscious and self-aware. Self-reflection leads to self-awareness. Become conscious of how you spend. What do you spend money on? Become conscious of how was money modeled. But then also begin to write down every single week, where is my money coming from and where is my money going, and begin to become conscious of what are some purchases that I make that are what I call impress purchases. I begin to ask the question, if no one would actually see what I have, would I still make the purchase? You would be surprised at how many of us buy stuff, get stuff just to look good for somebody else. So much of that is true. So, you know, look at your impact, your impress purchases. How much are you spending that's just to impress somebody else?
I guess clothes could be an example of that.
Right.
Everything is an example of that. Everything. And it's okay, but you want to be conscious of it. And so the last thing that I say is, once you become more conscious, begin to evaluate your debts. Begin to evaluate, you know how many folks I know, again, who make $40,000 to $200,000 who don't even evaluate their credit report. One of my clients hadn't even looked at their credit report in over 2 years because of fear. We often make choices based on either love or fear, and so many of us are afraid of money. And when you are afraid of money, you cannot move money effectively. You cannot be in healthy relationship with money when you are afraid of money. So many folks haven't looked at their bank accounts, haven't looked at their statements. Get a real assessment of where you are, develop a pay down plan. And the last thing I'll say is, at the most, begin to say, how can I pay my debts off, you know, by 10% a month, 10% a month. If you have a small plan, start small. When you go exercise, you start small. When you want to change a new habit, you start small. And then reward yourself.
Okay. So where can people find you? Because a lot of people, I mean, in general, we don't grow up with financial literacy classes. You don't learn this stuff until later on.
Right, which is sometimes people think it's too late, but here's what I know. It is never too late to do a new thing. It is never too late to change your mind. It's never too late to be renewed by the power of your mind. And so connect with me on social media at Michael McGill Jr. I just got this TikTok, so I'm trying to do that stuff now. But Instagram, Facebook, and then, of course, McGillSpeaks.com. And I'd love to work with you. So thanks for having me.
Of course. Great advice.
Great to have your energy back in the building, Michael.
It's good to be here. Remember, you are one thought away from a new thing.
Okay.
I love it. Great to see you again.